Hello beautiful people and welcome to Mimsy Vids. I am Marwa aka Mimsy and today I'm going to talk about a comment I received from Ali Dawah. Now if you don't know Ali Dawah, he is a big YouTuber in the Muslim scene. So he left me a couple of comments on my Why I Left Islam video and I basically will read through the comment and just give my commentary on his comment. So he says, just finished watching it all. You seem like you have this deep hatred towards a Muslim that's hurt you and you're taking it out on Islam. So he's saying here that I've been hurt by a Muslim, by a particular person has hurt me, therefore I've left my religion because of that person. First of all, I just want to say, that was a really good attempt at being, psychic, mystic, reading minds, knowing purposes and motivations without even asking people. I swear you're not supposed to be acting like, all-knowing and all-powerful and, a'udhu billah, don't try and be a psychic. I mean, it was a good try, but no, I didn't leave Islam because of one particular Muslim had done something to hurt me. I actually couldn't even be further from the truth. The majority of the people in my life that I love and hold dear are Muslims. My family, my friends. I even still hold dear the sheikhs that taught me, and it's not really anything to do with them, so you're wrong. And then he goes on to say, I can see you seem very frustrated as you was talking. So yes, I was frustrated. However, it wasn't what your psychic abilities had told you. I'm afraid you're going to have to work on that, inshallah bi'idhnillah, your psychic abilities get a bit better, brother. But if you did sense any frustration, it was to do with Islam. I am frustrated in many ways with Islam. The best way I can describe it is if you have been in a relationship for 20 plus years and you've devoted so much to it and you've loved it and you've given everything to it and you've trusted it and you've believed in it, and then to not believe in it and to feel like you've actually learnt so much about it that doesn't agree with you, that can feel like a heartbreak. And that experience and that part of my life will always be a part of my life. And it's like, as I said, a relationship, when you break up with someone, at the end of the day, that's still part of your journey. And I'll read on. Also, I've got to be honest, I felt like I was watching the female version of Tommy Robinson. And when I found out you're married to an absolute Islamophobe, it all added up. Okay, I'll stop there again. So basically, he's claiming, if I'm Tommy Robinson, my husband is an Islamophobe. Essentially, we're both Islamophobes is what he's claiming and what he's calling us. I don't know what this knee-jerk reaction is with Muslims. Any kind of criticism, it's, oh my god, you're an Islamophobe, Islamophobe. I don't know if it's just become like a Muslim defense mechanism. Like, did you say something bad? Did I hear you say something bad about Muslims? You're an Islamophobe. It's like, oh. So we are ex-Muslims. We do criticize Islam. So if anyone doesn't know, my husband is Video Vids. He does like comedy skits and basically talks about issues within Islam and religion overall. And I obviously have some videos talking about Islam and the issues that I've had it with personally on my journey. Are you really going to tell me that anyone that criticizes Islam is an Islamophobe? Really? It's just not true. There are certain things that I would do that perhaps an Islamophobe wouldn't. For example, I've been standing against the hijab ban, but it's more than that. I would fight for any person that wants to live the way they want to live. If a Muslim wants to wear the hijab, if they want to pray 5 times a day, if they want to live their life, I will always stand for their right to do that. My husband also does interviews on his channel where he's been talking to Muslims such as Shabir Ali, who's a big sheikh in Canada. When he sat down with him, he literally said, I was such a big fan of yours and I'm still a very big fan of yours. And there was so much mutual respect and love. I just don't think Islamophobes would behave that way. It's all well and good you telling me I haven't done my research, but you haven't done your research. It would honestly be so much easier if I was a Muslim, by the way. Like, I've had a lot of comments also kind of say, oh, you're following your own desires and that sort of thing. You just want to do this or that. My life is so much harder as a non-Muslim because my entire surrounding is Muslim. My family are Muslim, my friends are Muslim. I still, as I talk about in my Why I Left Islam video, I'm still within this sort of bubble. So then he goes on to say, the amount of times you said, I think, showed that the problem was with yourself, sister. You wanted God to fit into your way of thinking and your subjective norms. Can you imagine what kind of God we would have if everyone wanted to shape it to their desires? Lol. So for me to believe in in a religion and devote myself to the religion, I've got to reconcile morality with the religion. Are you saying that the way to follow a religion is just with blind faith? Would you say that to anyone following religion? So the Hindus, the Christians, the Jews, are you going to say, no, guys, you shouldn't actually, you should just believe whatever. You know, it has to be just faith. If it doesn't add up to what you believe, it doesn't matter. I don't care. You just do what God says. There's no point of you doing dawah to anyone, because your understanding is that when you believe in a religion, you just follow regardless of whether or not you agree with it. So then he says, you sounded absolutely like Fox News. Out of context statements, weak and fabricated hadiths, emotions, misconstructed statements, misquotations, misrepresentations, and the list goes on. I just think it's funny that the only thing they can come back with is that it's not true. It's like, no, it's not true. It's a misquotation. It's a misinterpretation. It's like, okay, guys, whatever I read or quote, it's like, yeah, but that is not a real quote, or, oh no, that's weak, it's been fabricated. This seriously reminds me of my husband's video, Out of Context. You've got to see it. I'll put it down below. This is a prime example of what he's talking about in that video. The truth is, Muslims can't agree on anything. I don't think there are two Muslims that fully agree on everything in Islam, because everything is, oh, this hadith, I follow this interpretation, I follow this interpretation, I follow this madhab, I understand it this way. There's so many different ways of seeing it. Just for a couple of examples, I know that some people don't believe that Aisha was, 9 or 6, she wasn't a child. Some people say that she was actually in her 20s, early 20s, some people say she was 16, and they all have their own evidences and scholars that say why it's that way. Also in my video, I made the point about the Prophet, you would go to war and give people 3 options and say either you have to convert to Islam, or you have to pay the jizya, which is like a tax if you want to remain your own religion, or you will die. Now, some people don't like to believe that. They'll say, no, that's just fabricated. That's not how it happened. This is how it happened. It was only defense, da da da. At the end of the day, you could just go around in circles discussing these kinds of things. The point is, these things are in the scripture of Islam. But to be honest with you, these little things were just part of my journey. As I said in my video, all these things were kind of put together, but they weren't the actual reason on their own or individually. The final straw was the entire picture of the religion and religions, Abrahamic religions. The idea of religion is what was the final straw for me. Just the concept of it, of people are either right or wrong, they have to tick a box to get into heaven. Even the concept of hell and heaven, I talk about it more in my video, I won't go into it now, but all that entire, bigger picture basically is what actually made me leave. Then he went to go on and say something a bit strange. He said, your husband is a great fan of mine. Okay. I think he was referring to his comedy skits where he imitates Dawah Man, but that's like the Dawah Man, who is Imran Mansoor. If it makes you feel good about yourself, you can think it's you. So he ended the comment basically saying that he was going to make a video debunking all my false allegations that I had made with no knowledge. Then a few weeks later he said, just because you haven't seen videos of her claims being debunked doesn't mean it hasn't been answered. It's like me doing a video and taking out of context stuff about you and your life and making you look evil. Okay. At the end of the day, all this is just free speech. We are criticizing, we're bringing comedy. I think it's important to laugh at yourself. I think Muslims need to grow thicker skin, take things on the chin a little bit more. Bit too sensitive, then they're throwing out this Islamophobe card, which they absolutely love. But discussing, debating, criticizing is all part of human interaction, and it's extremely important for human development, societal development. It's all critical to do. Anyway, guys, let's not assume things, and feel free to criticize me. There should be no limits to critique or comedy or free speech. Let's just agree to disagree. Anyway, guys, if you're all about that free speech, do subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you guys soon. Stay in touch. Mwah.